Elspeth here from Vegan News Daily, and today I thought I'd show you how I make a piping bag out of parchment paper. So these are very useful for decorating cookies and cakes, and also for using them for making the Duchess potatoes. So I just take regular parchment paper, and you want to pull out, you want to try and make it an approximate square. So I might be a little bit off here, but I'm going to cut this off. And then I'll turn this square into two triangles. So I've got an approximate square here. I'm just going to do it point to point and see how well I did. Well, not very good at all. But anyway, so I just turn it into two squares. I have a little bit extra on the edge here, which I can cut off. It does help to have it as perfect of a square as you can, just so you don't have any loose ends. All right, and then I'll take, so I've just got a nice crease in the middle of my two triangles, and I'll just take a sharp knife and cut this into the two triangles. So now I'm going to be able to make two piping bags out of this. So the point of the piping bag, this point here, is actually going to come out of this long, straight, flat side. So approximately right in the center is where it's going to be. So I take one of the points and I bring it around and sort of curl it in and form a point right there where my finger is. And then I want to take this other point that's over here and sort of curve it all the way around. So I end up with a sort of, you can see an M shape over here with the 3 points sticking out. So that'll ensure that the tippy point here is very, very pointed. And then I take all of this and I tuck it inside the bag. So it's facing in. And I can make a little notch in the side here, either by tearing the parchment paper or just doing two quick cuts. And I'll just notch this in so that it grabs all the parchment, so I know that my piping bag is going to stay together. So that's one. I'll do another one quickly. So again, I have my long straight side here. I'll bring the point that's to my right, your left, and I'll bring it around up to the point that's pointing towards me. So that's one. And then I'll pick up the other point that's on its own, and I'll bring it all the way around and form a sharp tip at the base here, and I end up with this little M shape at the top, which I will tuck inside. And by tucking it inside, it sort of holds onto all 3 points of the parchment paper, and then I'll make a little notch right here where all 3 points overlap, and I tuck that in, and that's how I end up with a piping bag. So what I can do now is I'll take one of these bags and I'll show you. I have a few different piping tips here. So I'm going to just want to pop this into the base here. So I need to snip off the end here. So don't go too far the first time you do a snip. You can always add more snips to it, but you can't take it away. So that wasn't big enough. I'll just go a little bit higher. And then I pop the nib into the piping bag, and I want to make sure that the decorative part is just sticking out the base here. So I do have some mashed potatoes and mashed sweet potatoes here that I can just show you an example of how I'm going to use this piping bag. So on a parchment lined baking sheet, I'll take some of the mashed potato and scoop it into my piping bag. And I just sort of shake the bag a little bit so that the potato, or if you were using icing for decorating a cake, it would all squirt down. And then I sort of fold over the top part of it and gently squeeze down towards the top. And so if I were making Duchess potatoes, I would be able to just make some nice little mounds of the potato on my baking sheet, and I could just continue on using up all the sweet potato that's in here and make these nice little rounds, and then I would pop these into the oven and bake them until they were a little bit crisp and brown on the outside. But the main point of this tutorial was to show you how to make parchment paper piping bags. So don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss out on any of our recipes or any of our tips and tricks.